Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a puzzle called Double Negative by Belamis. As you can see, it's a fog of war. And let's just jump into our rule set and see if we can get this one figured out. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So as we all know, every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. We've got Kropki digits, or Kropki dots. So cells and digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. We don't have any showing right now. Let's just say there was a dot right here in the middle. Whatever these two digits are, they just have to be consecutive. So 2, 3, 5, 6, whatever. Black Kropki dots. So cells, digits and cells separated by a black dot have a 1 to 2 ratio. We do see the edge of one of those. So these must be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Essentially, whatever this digit is, X, let's say this has to be half or double of it. All possible Kropki dots are given, so that means we do have a negative constraint we can work on. And note, this seems to be important, there's never a black and white dot placed in the same spot. Okay, so what does that mean? Without going into any type of deductive logic or anything like that, all that means is this black dot cannot also act as a white dot. So if this was, a digit, these two digits were consecutive and they were in a 2-to-1 ratio, that would break the puzzle. I think that's the best way I can say it without trying to make logic, because I don't want to get into that in just the rules at this point. We'll get to that in the solve, or the attempt at a solve. Then we have, of course, fog of war. The grid is partially covered in fog. Correctly placing digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So those are all the rules. There's not a ton of them, but there are a couple of interesting points here, as in the negative constraint and the white and black Kropki dots cannot commingle, I guess is the best way to put it. So that said, let's get started on this one. Let's see. So where is a good place to start? Well, clearly we're going to have to start down here somewhere because it's all we can see. Now, what I was somewhat avoiding saying when just reading the rules is this black Kropki dot. So what does it actually mean that there's never a black and white dot placed in the same spot? I think what we can say is that you can never put a 1, 2 on either a black or a white Kropki dot, because a 1, 2 will work for both of them. They are consecutive, 1 and 2 are consecutive, and they are in a 1 to 2 ratio. So therefore, if you ever put 1, 2 on a white dot or a black dot, you're breaking the specific rule in this puzzle. So this cannot be a 1, 2. Now, that doesn't apply to any other of the white or black Kropki dot rules. Yeah, it does not. Okay, so that's the only situation that seems to be the issue. So if this can't be 1, 2, what can it be? Well, it can't be 2, 4 because we have a 4 looking at it, and it can't be 4, 8 because we have a 4 looking at it. So this has to be a 3, 6 black Kropki. Now, we also have to remember we have our negative constraint, and sometimes that slips out of my head. So I try to hammer it in there and say it over, at least to myself and sometimes out loud. So if there is not a white or a black dot, then we cannot have consecutive or 2-to-1 ratio digits next to each other or adjacent to each other. So looking at this 4, we can clearly see this cannot be a 3, because if it was a 3, there would have to be a white dot between them. So this has to be 6, and therefore 3. Now we could also start looking at our negative constraint in terms of what can go in these cells, although I don't know we're going to get a ton of information or enough information. And what do I mean by that? Well, we know that the 4 is consecutive with 3 and 5. So we can never put a 3 or a 5 in any of these cells. We also know it's in a 1 to 2 ratio with 2 and 8, so we can't put 2 or 8 in either of this. So actually, I guess we can say that because 2, 3, 5, and 8 cannot be next to the 4, therefore they must be in these corners, because those are the only ones that are not sitting next to it. And now we can kind of continue our reduction of possibilities, because there are no black Kropki dots in any of these crossing over like this. This can never be 3. And also, since there are no white Kropki dots crossing over, these can never be 5. So those are a 2-8 pair, which means this is a 3-5 pair. Now, these digits, therefore, will have to be from 1, what am I doing? 7 and 9. And I don't see any instance right now where any of that is an issue. Now, clearly, if we had a 1 in either of these positions, it would therefore determine what these are, but we cannot necessarily say either of those is or isn't a said 1. So this did give me a little bit more I thought I did, but in the end of the day, it didn't actually give us any numbers, at least not that I can see at the moment. So let's move forward a little bit. I guess what we can also start looking at this black Kropki dot, because once again, we know it cannot be 1, 2. It cannot be 3, 6, because we've got a 3 looking at it from here. So it's either 2, 4, and we can rule out 2, 4, because this digit cannot be 2 or 4 because there's not a white Kropki dot. The other option is 4, 8. Now, that is the only option left over. So if this is a 4, 8, which it must be, this digit can't be a 4 because it's next to a 3 and doesn't have a white Kropki. So this has to be 8 and this has to be 4. And with the fog clearing, we know that is accurate. And this 8 is actually going to give us now our 2 and our 8. And that 8 here is now going to get rid of our 7 and 9 because there's no white Kropki dot next to it. So this has to be 1. We can get rid of our 1s here. So we're down to a 7, 9 pair here. We've got 3 5s here, but none of those see each other in any useful way at the moment. Now, the only clue we have outstanding now is this white Kropki dot. Of what use does it give us? We know we can't put a 1, 2 on a white Kropki dot, just like we can't put on a black Kropki dot. So this cannot be 1, it cannot be 2, it cannot be 3, it can't be 4, because 4 and 8 are a 2-to-1 ratio. It could be 5, it could be 6, it cannot be 7, because once again, it can't be consecutive. It can't be 8 and it can't be 9. So this is either a 5 or a 6, which is pared down further than I thought it might be. So if this is 5 or 6, this could be, well, let's just put them in and then we'll move. We can go 4, 5, 6, or 7. Now clearly this can't be 4 because there's 4 looking at it. And this can't be 5 because there's a 4 there and there's not a white dot between it. So it's either 6 or 7. So I think at the end of the day, what we're saying is this is either a 5, 6, or it's a 6, 7. Now, is there anything we might be able to start filling in these types of digits because they are next to a couple of given or now determined digits, and therefore the limitations are going to be much higher. So maybe we just start looking here and see what happens. Now, this can't be 1, can't be 2 because of adjacency and consecutiveness. Can't be 3, can't be 4. It could be 5. It can't be 6 because of no black Kropki dot. It can't be 7 because of adjacency. It can't be 8 because of adjacency and because of just normal Sudoku. And it can't be 9 because of the adjacency and consecutiveness. So this is just a 5, which tells me this is 6 and this is 7. Okay. So that turned out quite well. I wasn't sure we were going to get an actual digit. I thought we'd just get some options. But with that being a 5, therefore, this is a 3. This is a 5. And we get our deet, deet, doot in the corner, which is lovely. Now, these 7, 9s are still doing their thing, but we've uncovered 2 black Kropki dots. What can we do with them? Cannot be 1 and 2. They could be 2, 4. They cannot be 3, 6, and they could be 4, 8. So there has to be a 4 on this Kropki dot. Because it's either 2, 4 or 4, 8, and there's a 4 looking here. So this is a 4. Let's get rid of this 4. Now, we know there's a 4 up here, but I'm not going to go into that because we don't quite know enough about it. Can we do anything with this white Kropki dot before? Maybe we go up here and look at this one. Now, we know we can't have 1, 2. We can't have 2, 3. Because if this was a 2, 3 pair, this is either 2 or 3. 2 is in a 2-to-1 ratio with 4, and there's no black dot, and it's in consecutive with 4, so it can't be that. So it's not 2, 3. Can't be 3, 4. Can't be 4, 5. I guess it could be 5, 6 if this was 6 and this was 5. And then it can probably pretty much be anything else. Yeah, it looks like it can be, so that doesn't look like it's all that useful. Well, this can't be 8. We can get rid of that. How useful that is, I'm not sure. It just means this can't be 9, essentially. All right, so that doesn't seem like it did a ton. Let's look at this, this boy right here. Now, again, we know it can't be 1, 2, it can't be 2, 4, and it can't be 4, 8, so this has to be a 3, 6 pair. We know it can't be 1, 2 because we've said it multiple times. It can't be 2, 4, or 4, 8 because of this 4. So this is 3, 6. Now, I don't see how we can do anything with that to continue with our fog removal. Now, I had noticed there's some Sudoku starting to happen. Is it going to be useful? I guess we can start marking things to see what happens. So these 2 4s push a 4 up here. These 2 6s push a 6 down here. These 2 3s push a 3 down here. We can put a 5 up here. I think we're probably going to end up looking at digits like these next, but I just want to take a quick look at our Sudoku. Let's get some things just thrown out into here so that we see them later. I think that's all of what we could actually, well, no, we could put an 8 here if we wanted to as well. Okay, let's move on from that because I don't think that really was all very fruitful. What about this digit right here? Can't be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, can't be 8, and so it has to be 9. Hope you all got that one. This is a 9 because no other conditions work where it's not consecutive or not into a 2-to-1 ratio or just isn't in Sudoku. So this is not 9. That doesn't change anything here. No, it does not appear to. Okay, so that 9 wasn't super useful. So let's look at maybe some other places where we've got some things. This could be 1. Can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, can't be 8, and it could be 9. So there's 2 options on that one, which is not quite as helpful as I hoped it would be. And that is the only other cell at the moment, I think, that really sees 2 given digits now. It may be possible that we can look at this digit because it sees a digit and it has a lot of things around it that might be able to create issues. So let's look through it. It cannot be 1. Could it ever be 2? It looks like it can. Could it be 3? If it were 3, this would be 8. This would be 7. This would be 6. I think that would work. So let's put 3 in there. Can't be 4. It could be 5. It could be 6. This isn't looking good. Can't be 7. It could be 8, but it can't be 9. So that turned out to be horrible. pretty much nothing got removed from that one, which I find semi-interesting. Okay. Maybe there's something else we can look at, although it doesn't look super obvious. Just doing a quick scan. I don't see anything off the bat. I had this cell click because it's one of the few things that sees a few digits, but I don't think we're going to remove enough for this to be good. Let's just take a quick look at it, I guess. I mean, it could be 2, it can't be 3, it can't be 4, it can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, can't be 8, it could be 9. Again, we have a couple of options where it's not quite gotten us what we need. And, yep, just doing a quick look back to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything. Now, are we pushing ourselves towards just trying to find a single position here where there is something we can figure out in terms of using negative constraints to pare things down? Or is there something more obvious that's looking at us here? I do not know the answer to that question just yet. I think this is the next most constricted cell, but it doesn't feel like it's really constricted. Because, I mean, it could be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3. It could be 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, can't be 8. But once again, that stupid 9 trickles in. Maybe there is something I'm not seeing. Is there any given on this line? I don't think there is, because this could be 5, 6. It could be 6, 7, or it could be 8, 7. So there's nothing in those 3 options that are consistent. So is there any way to further pare this down? Nope, not that I see. I mean, because even this digit, it has like 3 options. It could be 1, 3, or 5. And that doesn't do enough at this juncture. Let's look up here. I haven't seen anything that's poking out at me. It says this is the place to look and there's going to be something there. So I'm kind of trying to figure this thing out as to where I'm supposed to be at. Now again, there's options here. It could be 1. It can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5. It can't be 6. It can't be 7, can't be 8. But it can be 9. God, stupid 9 keeps poking its head in here. And I think we're going to have the same issue here because this sees a lot less things. So it seems like it's not going to give us much. Now, is there anything further we can say has to go up here? The answer to that is a resounding no. And we can't really do anything with these. I mean, we can fill in the options, but I don't think it's going to give us anything. Because the only thing these 2 cells currently have reducing their possibilities are their columns and their box. Let me think for a second. What could these things be? I don't really want to do this, but since I'm stuck, I'm going to fill in these next couple of them and just see if something pops out at me. It doesn't really seem like it's going to, but I just do not see. Well, okay, this can't be an 8. Let's put that out. For a couple of reasons. It couldn't be 8 because it's next to a 9. It also couldn't be an 8 here because this had to be a 7 or a 9. Now, this also can't be a 6 because it would force us to be a 7, so we can get rid of that. Now, that is paring it down a little bit, but I don't know that it's enough. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like it, does it? Because if this was a 5, this would have to be a 7. This could be 6 or 8. And that doesn't affect anything else. If this is a 2 or a 3, it forces this to be an 8. Now, does that do anything? Because if this was a 3, let's say, this would be an 8. I think I already tried this earlier, but I didn't have some of these options removed. If this was a 3, this would have to be an 8. This would have to be a 7 because there's no black dot, so this couldn't be 3, 6. 3, 8, 7. This would have to be 6. And again, doesn't seem like there's enough there to cut those down. So I'm going to go back to this real quick. Like I said, I don't want to do this necessarily, but I'm going to just to maybe, if I can find something. If I can just find one digit somewhere in here, it's probably going to help me. So again, this can't be 1, could be 2, can't be 3. We're going to have a bunch more options now because we're not next to anything too obvious. Not 5 or 6, it could be 7 or 9. Yeah, I think these are both just going to do the exact same thing. So yeah, that's not going to give me what I want. So what can I do? Just trying to rule out possible options in my head and see if that takes me anywhere. It is not coming to me. We know there has to be a 1 in one of these 3. The 2 could be in multiple places. Well, the 2, I guess there has to be a 2 in one of these. Right? Because there can't be any in here because this 2. These are not 2s, and this can't be a 2. So one of these is a 2. If either one of these is a 2, this can never be a 3. Because if this is a 2, this can't be consecutive because there's no white dot. And if this is a 2, then it's clearly not a 3. So this is not a 3. Is this going to get me anywhere? Gosh, I hope it does. So, if this is 2, it forces this to be 5, 7, 6, or 8. What about 3s? None of these are 3s. So there has to be a 3 up here somewhere. Now, that gives us an X-wing on 3s, which I don't think is going to help us. What about... we can't rule 5s down very much. And probably not 6s either, because we can have any of these 3 be a 6. But I guess what that also does, it creates an X-wing on 6s. So, I mean, we're sifting through straw here and not coming up with much. Let's look at this digit now that it actually does have some things looking at it more. Now, this could be a 1, it can't be a 2, it can't be 3, 4. It could be 5, it can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. So it's either 1 or 5. I wish that did more. Because the only thing that really does is says, if this is a 5, this is a 3, 6 in this direction. And that forces this to be 2, 8. What use is that? And, well, I guess we can say there's, oh, we can put an 8. I just saw that. Okay. Finally, these markings helped me out. It took a while. I had to kind of dig for it, but where do we put an 8 in this region? Well, we've determined it can't go in any of these. Now there's an 8 looking here. There also can't be an 8 here because there's no white dot. So this has to be an 8. There we go. We've opened it back up a little bit. Whew. That was not easy to see for me, but I found it eventually. Okay, so now we have new clues. Can we do anything with those clues? And that's going to be a very good question. Well, let's start with this one, I guess, because we know, once again, as we've said in the past, this can't be 1, 2. It could be 2, 3. It could be 3, 4. It could be 4, 5. So there's a bunch of options really there. Then we have this guy right here. Let's figure out what this can be. Maybe it'll be enough of a reduction, and then we can kind of compare these two to see what will work on here. Now, this one could be a 1, can't be a 2, or it could be a 3, sorry. Can't be 4, could be 5. Can't be 6. It could be 7, can't be 8 or 9. That seems like those are those options. Let's go over here. This one, it could be a 1. It could be a 2, not a 3, 4, 5, not a 6, not a 7, not an 8, but it could be a 9. But it can't be a 9 because this 8 here and there's nothing here for this. This is either a 1 or a 2, which means this is not a 7 or a 5. Okay, it's paring down a little bit. It's paring down. Now, this digit can never be a 1, because if it was, this would have to be a 2. So this is a 2. Now that the 2 is there, this has to be 9. And this has to be either a 1 or a 5. So one of these is a 5, which means this can never be a 6. So this is 3 and 6. Okay, here we go. This is not 3, so we're forcing our 3 over here. And that is continuing to be correct. This is not 6. I don't think we had anything else here we could say was or was not, and none of these are pointing at anything just yet. Okay. We have more clues we can start looking at. can we determine, well, we know we have a 3 and a 6 in these 3 spots. Now, if we had a 3 or a 6 in either one of these two, it would just be a 3-6 because it's not a black Kropki. And that's exactly what it's going to be because we can't put both 3 and 6 up here. So therefore, this just has to be a 3-6. We can get rid of this as being 3-6. And there was nothing quite looking there. I mean, again, the 1 and the 1, 5 here would determine which one is 6 and which one is 3. Well, if it was a 5, that is. But it currently does not. This one is 1, 2, or sorry, it's just 1, 5, or 8. But again, there's no real use on that one. We already tried this one, and there wasn't much we could do with it, I don't believe. Because it could be 2, 3, 3, 4, or 4, 5 still. What about this guy? And we'll come down to here maybe next after we see if we can do anything with this one. Well, this one can't be a 3-6, clearly, because 3-6 is already looking at it. So it has to be from 1, 2, 4, 8. And it doesn't appear that absolutely anything is going to reduce that possibility. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't see anything. Again, looking at this dot, I mean, in this entire row, the 9 is either over here or here. The 5 could be here, or it could be any of these. The 4 has to be over here. So we know, does that help us quite as much as that black Kropki dot up here did? Not quite, I don't believe. It does remove a 4 from here, but that just removes an 8 from here. Now we know one of these two is a 3 or a 4. All that really tells us is this could be a 2, 3, 3, 4, or a 4, 5. Two, 3, 4, 5 are the options here. I'm just putting it in real quick to look at it. You know, what's a better way to do it? Let's just finish this row because we know what these digits have to be. So then we can use that maybe. These have to be from 1, 6, and 7. So let's get rid of that. This is not a 1. This is not a 2. Okay. Is there anything else now we can do? We said this could be multiple things. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. It doesn't seem like super useful. Can we continue with our white dot up here? Because if this is 1, this has to be 2. And it looks like it can be. If it's 4, it's either 3 or 5. And again, I don't see any issues with that. All right, let's go down here. This guy has been poking out for a little bit. Maybe it'll be helpful. We can't have 1, 2. We can't have 1, 2 on a white Kropki. Thank you. That it almost slipped my mind again. So this can never be a 1 because it would force this to be a 2 and therefore it breaks. So this is a 4. Now this can't be a 2. Now this is 4, 3, 2, or 4, 5, 6. Again, it opened a little bit, but not a ton, so none of these are 4s. This is coming slowly to me, but it's starting to propagate. So let's go back here again. Cannot be 1, 2. Could it be a 2, 3? And I think the answer there is quite clearly yes. It can't be 3, 4 because we have a 4 here. Can't be 4, 5 because of the same reason. It can't be 5, 6 because that would leave these both being 7s. It can't be 6, 7, or yeah, it can't be 5, 6 because as you see, it can't be 6, 7 because that would break this It could be 7, 8, which shucks. And it could be 8, 9. Okay, this is not a 1 because it's next to a 2. I've got to find every little thing I can find on this one because it's really messing with me. So this ends up being, actually now that I see this, there's a 3 spot here on our white Kropkis. So what were the options here? Let's put those in because this now might actually be more useful because we know there's an extra added layer to it. So we said it could be 2, 3. It could be 3, 4, or it could be 4, 5. Now, if it's 2, 3, this has to be 4, which breaks the puzzle because there has to be a 4 in one of these. Well, this one we can just get rid of 4. So let's just do that now. So if it was 2, 3, it breaks the puzzle. If it's 3, 4, this is 5, which seems like it could work. And it can't be 4, 5 because the 4 can't be here. So this could never be 5, first off. So it was either 2, 3. No, not 2, 3. Cannot be 2, 3. So let's get rid of the 2. It's either 3, 4, 5, or the only thing left it would be 5, 4, 3, which it can't be. So this is 3, 4, 5. And this looks like it might break this open a bit. Hallelujah. This has been a struggle. So this 4 now has to go with a 2 because it can't go with an 8. So therefore this is 8. We have figured this out. Now this has to be 9, this has to be 1, this has to be 5, and 1. And there we start moving finally. This is a 4. Ooh, this is not 4 or 9. It could still be 2 or 7. This is a 2, 7 pair is what this is. This cannot be 3. Okay, this is a given digit of 9. This can't be 8, and it can't be 3. So this can never be 9. This can never be 7. What else do we have? Like, we've got to be getting something going over here somewhere, I would think, but let's not try to put in a bunch of different options. Let's try to figure this thing out. This one can't be 2 or 3. This is 8. Therefore, this is not 2. This is 7 or 9. So we have a 7, 9 pair here. Therefore, this must be 5, 6. This has to be 2. This has to be 8. All right, this is a given digit of 3, which means this has to be either 2 or 4. It cannot be 2. It's 4. This couldn't be 4 either because it had to be consecutive with the 8, and this can't be 9, so it has to be 7. Therefore, this is not 7 or 6 because there's no white Kropki, so it has to be 1. Let's get rid of all this stuff. There's no black Kropki dot here. This is 7 and 6. This is 9 and 7 and 9. And we are moving. Ooh, that took some effort to get that thing going, but it finally did. So we've got 1, 3, and 9. This is not 3, as we've stated previously. This 3 actually just sees this, so 6 and 3. Let's start getting stuff. This has to be a 3. These are not 3s. Just making sure nothing else is going wrong here. We've got a given digit of 5. That appears correct, so you're not 5. You might not just keep doing all those little tiny bits of stuff right there. These two digits are from 1 and 7, it appears. So this has to be 1 and 7. And this is going to be a given 5. These have to be from 1, 2, and 6. So we've got 1 and 2 looking here. So this has to be 6. And these have to be from 1 and 2. There's a 2 here. That's 1 and 2. Now we've got a given 9. We've got these two given at 1 and 6. So they're not finished, but they are. We're probably going to be able to figure these out. because what we have left over is 5, 7, and 8, and one of those, or two of those have to be consecutive, so therefore the 5 has to be down here. These have to be from 7 and 8. That 5 now removes this from a 5, so this has to be 5. This is either going to be a 4 or a 6, and I can't rule either out. Sugar. This is not 6. Doing some cleanups for the sake of doing cleanup. What else can we continue on? This 1, 2 here will give us our 7 and our 2. I probably could have gotten it previously, but that's okay. This can't be 8, so this is 8. Go away. This is a given 2. So therefore we have a 9 and a 1 and a 6 and a 1, and all our fog is gone, which is wonderful. This is 4. This is 6. This is 7. That 8 up here gives us our 7 and our 8. And we are left with some digits to work through. We've got a 2, 4 pair here. There's a 2 and a 4 already looking at it. So this is 2, 4. These are 7 and 9. 9 here. So 7, 9. And then our final 2 digits. This has to be an 8 and this has to be a 1. And there we go. You saw the puzzle. All right. Whew. That one was good. It just kind of caught up. Once I got a lot of this stuff uncovered, I kind of hit a snag and had to find a place where I could make a breakthrough. I don't remember exactly which cell it was that got me rolling again, but yeah, I think it was up here somewhere. I could be wrong, but anyway, still an excellent puzzle. It just took a bit of mental gymnastics there in the middle to get from the beginning, which seemed to flow fairly well, and the end, which then flowed well as well. Yeah, good English. I love it. Let me know if you guys had a quicker way of figuring out how to make that transition than I did. Maybe there was something that was more obvious instead of me kind of picking at little cells to find what needed to be done. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. I did, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.